Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you the Protoss player in the blue. Not the Protoss we deserve, but the Protoss we need right now. It's the smiling assassin. It's herO. And his longtime challenger from Team Shopify. Welcome back to Micro Jackson. It's ByuN. It's a best of 5. Protoss versus Terran from WardiTV Summer Championship. Not my favorite season, believe it or not. But I'm happy to watch these two all year long. And if you want to see more good games and these two players, well, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. Jimmy, what are we? 1,000. If we get 1,092 likes on this video, on this cast, I'll cast another series. Well, I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you've had a good day so far. I hope it's about to get a little bit better. As herO versus ByuN. I think ByuN's gotten the better of him in the last couple times they've met. Though, I don't think herO's going to... he's revolutionized multiple Protoss matchups. Him and MaxPax are pretty much all that stands between us and TVZ and TVT for the rest of, well, the foreseeable future. So, already starting out with the heavy tech opener. We've got Mech Toss for the most part. Stargate with Phoenix. Robo. No Twilight Council. No Blink. Honestly, I do think... 3 Adepts is enough. I think he was going to try to bounce himself in there, but... ByuN does have 3 command centers back at home. He did all that. Just a reactor barracks. And into 3 command centers. A Cyclone out now as well, but... an incredibly greedy opener from ByuN, but not the least bit surprising considering he's never shied away from being on the ragged edge of either early aggression or economy. Sometimes both. herO, what are you doing? The unholy Protoss summoning dance, trying to bring the rains down. Unfortunately, there are no weather effects in StarCraft. Actually, I think you can add them to the map. That's not really... I don't know if underwater maps count as not really relevant here. As on Grezvin, what really matters is distance. All right, social distancing. Keeping the Terrans away from you as long as possible in order to build up that unit composition. herO is opting for the mass tech. He needs to survive long enough to abuse that slightly longer extended thermal lance Colossus, unless this tournament is using one of the mods. I don't know if WardiTV was using the fix, but either way, Colossi probably the only option against early bio. Disruptors later on, but has herO seen the 3rd command center? That's actually, he may have seen the barracks timing, and that potentially gives it away, but he didn't actually see the 3rd command center. So he may be expecting significantly more aggression out of ByuN than he's seeing right now. He's got all his units sitting back at home. ByuN only has a handful of Marines. The triple threat is still a long way off. The stim, the combat shield, the +1. So without those medevacs out, he doesn't really have much potential to do damage to herO, especially once the Colossus comes out. The Phoenix is an active scout, usually preferred over, well, I guess Oracles and Phoenixes are the top 2. Things that can actually do damage as opposed to observers who just like to watch. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that could have been part of a Colossus instead on the Robo. Extended thermal lance on the way, halfway done. Stim pack is completed. Cyclones will chip away just a bit more at those Phoenixes. And ByuN, I set back 55 workers apiece. Still a very passive game. But ByuN, 3 barracks with tech labs slapped on the side. So that is a mass marauder composition. Concussive shells already queued up. And everything's coming together. ByuN will have full 3-base production. herO only has 2 gateways right now, which is not particularly many if you don't count the Stargate as one. 2 warp gates and the 1 Stargate still producing. That is the big concern for herO. As a little bit more time goes on, ByuN will be able to outstrip his supply dramatically. But for now, those Colossi already out. herO actually delayed his third to be able to get this tech out. Most of the game so far, we've seen a grand total of a probe, a Reaper, and 2 Marines die. So, not a lot of back and forth directly, but constantly jockeying for position. What's happened so far is herO keeps scouting, like, the unit composition and the tech-heavy, it's very brittle until he can fill in enough units. And since ByuN went for the economy, there was no opportunity for him to punish herO for this. So I think if enough time goes on, ByuN will be the one who has to deal with it, because there's already 3 Colossi out. Stimming your Marines just to strongly discourage the Phoenixes isn't going to do much. There's already cannons in the main. herO's perfectly content to go up towards 200 supply. He's building 7 more gateways now. Looks like that's going to be about 10 in total. He hasn't taken a 4th. He's really... I need to stress that, because waiting this long to take additional bases, herO's essentially doing a 3-base death ball build here. He might slap on another Nexus, but he's only at 67, 68 probes as well. He's really focused on trying to maintain unit production. I'll admit, I am filling time here. I knew both players would go towards 200. ByuN, eventually, his main instinct is to pick up and drop the main, but then realizes that against a player with actually similar or less bases, trying to divide and conquer might not be the ideal strat. He might just be splitting his army into bite-sized pieces to get roasted by the Colossi. So it's going to come down to a more direct fight. Whatever he can do to draw the Colossi out of position. There's no Vikings so far. He's adding 3 more barracks and already ghosts on the way. +2 infantry weapons, as well as +1 arm. We got 2-1 for herO, joining the production tab alongside Charge. Charge still pretty far out. Important to note. herO's gone up to 10 gateways so far. 2 robos done, and getting closer to maxing out. ByuN may beat him there by just a bit. Whoa. Especially if he's able to gun down a few Phoenixes. But now ByuN with 2 large but not overwhelming armies. There's another army out to the south. EMPs will deter any chase from the Stalkers here. Force Field catches some Marauders. The Phoenixes finish off a Ghost. But another army sent in. Recall in time, well before any EMPs. So ByuN drew out the recall. That means for a couple minutes now, herO's not going to be able to reposition easily. But if he can chase down and pin either side of ByuN's army, the Ghost not quite quick enough to keep up with the stimmed bio. Does anyone else think Ghost should have stim pack? Fair and balanced. But 2 Ruptors on the way at a time. How many Ruptors already on the field? So 3 Colossi and then just Disruptors up until maxed out. herO now pushing forward with the Nexi. Still very little in exchange. Down go a couple more Phoenixes as herO wanders too far forward. Actually, that's the end of the Phoenixes. Right as the Vikings start coming out, maybe not the most ideal timing for that, but a passive game, yet a tense one. Neither player able to find real damage yet. ByuN clearly trying, but herO with an aggressive defense that is keeping him on his toes, because otherwise they will explode out from under him. And the Dark Shrine, the double Ds of destruction, the Dark Templar and the Disruptors. 2 units that can end your game if you look the wrong way at the wrong time. Fusion Core on the way for ByuN, but I dare not dream. Well, how many starports does he have? He has 3 starports. How many have tech labs? Oh, he's building it. It's going to be Liberators. A lot of Liberators. Okay, not Liberators, but like 6 at a time Liberators. He is taking the Disruptors almost excessively seriously. Though, Liberators in general, not a bad unit against ground toss, especially if you have advanced ballistics. All he's missing are the ship weapons upgrades. +2 ship weapons, a huge one, because it can 2-shot Stalkers. 1-shot him if you EMP. So, that +2 ship... Whoa, herO! He curved that one back around, but ByuN jumps on the Ruptors. herO fires everything, and one of the shots lands. and there's just not that much left over. ByuN thought he could jump on him. He got 3 out of 4, but it's the 4th one. Trying to jump on and defuse those grenades in time was not quite enough. And ByuN will be beaten back. herO takes the supply lead. And now, it's ByuN's turn to play some defense. He's building so many command centers. He's spiraling up towards 10 right now. He's got 8 barracks and 3 starports. Still a factory somewhere. Not sure if it's actually ever going to produce anything again with this sort of Terran. But herO still sitting back. DT Blink and Advanced Ballistics. We're just skipping straight, almost a no-rush 10 minutes, but not quite that sort of game. The cannon count grows here. Already a vanguard of cannons near the front. A wall of them to slow things down. They're not going to stop the bioarmy, but anything to give you a little more time to reposition or maybe give a split second for those Raptors to land. A fleet beacon is on the way, and we may very well see Tempest. I don't know if the Liberators have been revealed yet, but Tempest probably the most reliable option against them. The Disruptor Stalker in the center, having trouble pinning down the Marauders here. Concussive shells. Another shot is recharged. Shield battery overcharged. Has to stim back. Zealots, no match for the Planetary Fortress. Easily destroyed. Another Stargate. herO, not overcommitting. Barely committing it. Oh, a scan into the main. He spots with the scan from ByuN. DT Blink, a fleet beacon finishing, and a second Stargate. So that scan has revealed everything herO was heading towards. The question is, will ByuN have enough time to deal with it? He's going for rapid reignition thrusters after advanced ballistics. Gotta appreciate that. He's building 4 more command centers, and I'm sure whoever's contracted out to build those command centers also appreciates that, though it does seem a bit excessive, as that's going to be like 14 There are not 14 bases on ByuN's side of the map. He's gonna have enough command centers to build an orbital and a planetary on each one. The siege begins. Liberator circumventing the cannon wall. The Tempest in the production tab. Nuclear missile joins them as well. The Venn diagram of freedom. Overlapping fields of liberation. A double shot here. Unloads the barrels. Vikings nowhere useful right now except for the Stalkers to use as target practice. More disruptors. Clips a ghost. And so far, herO is drawing the line and not retreating from it. And that line is right outside the northern base. He's completely flexible outside it on the map, able to poke and prod. But so far, he's just inexorably been moving forward. Marching slightly further each time. The DTs catch a counterattack, but the Marauders and the DT Blink eviscerates the rest. Oh, this time, caught out on the map, the Dark Templar are a match for the Marauder counter. Disruptors warding things away. Fleet beacon is complete. I mean, clearly, as the Tempests are on the field. Shield battery overcharged. Tempest chipping away at the Liberators. Only +1 ship weapon so far. Now getting 6 Vikings at a time is ByuN. Liberator poked down. Another Liberator. Blink Stalkers underneath. Other ones kind of pitting the Disruptors up against the wall. Disruptor shots find 12 SCVs. Looking for some of the ghosts. Gets 3 or 4. Oh, how many was that? 2. They just die so dramatically, it sounds like 10. You have to try to gauge it as a caster, all right. It's like, how dramatic was it? Is he faking it? I don't know. Nope, it seemed pretty bad. 6 Vikings at a time. So far, 13 on the field, up against just 2 Tempests. But the Tempests, their main purpose is dislodging the Liberators. The standoff will continue. Vikings take out one of the Tempests. Liberator pushes forward, bridging the gap here. Neither player able to move the needle much in the center. But ByuN has been stuffed at every turn. He's definitely been the aggressor in most of these situations. Just going for the refinery here, the DTs. ByuN's reinforcements will deal with it for now. Another scan. Spotting. I mean, like... Yes, an Oracle added in by here. Ooh, saucy blink there. And snipes off one of the Liberators. Another one up to the north, taking advantage of the position near the minerals. And the Vikings, honestly, this Liberator mostly to draw out the Tempest and potentially take them out. herO expanding away. I don't think he wants to... Oh, a nuclear missile to break the siege. And legitimate chance... Does he not have Cloak? Oh, the save over the top! I believe he does have Cloak. He just didn't Cloak in time to save it. The cannons may have been close enough, but another nuke. Honestly, nukes, maybe, as an option to help break these siege positions. Liberators and tanks. No man's land. In the center here, between the Disruptors, the cannons, and the Tempests, as well as the Liberators. Neither player going to have an easy time moving further forward. DTs, EMP, cleared up. A blink back over the top, looking for... Almost get the missile turret. Liberators over. Oh, gets one of those Tempests. Viking mating dance there with the Revelation. Let them watch. Bit uncomfortable to look at. And this time, ByuN's nuke will break through the batteries and get most of the cannons, I think. Yeah, all of the cannons. So that is most of them. Disruptor volley is stuffed. Supply Depot is actually quite good at stymieing disruptors, as they do have collision with those depots. So walling off disruptor shots. ByuN is going mass nuke. He added 3-4 more Ghost Academies. All right. Well, that's one way to do it. He's going to try to force a fight with nuclear missiles, which, yeah, that's about as dramatic as it gets. More Liberator. Is that a Liberator? Yeah. Being sent out, trying to distract herO. A volley of scans. He's got 13 orbital command, so I think he can scan 2 or 3 times, essentially constantly, while still having some energy for mules. Disruptor shot. Clipping the very brave... Wow. The SCV still building the command center. Liberator redrawing the siege line. The army, not... The Stalkers are not particularly dangerous. The Disruptors could still... I don't know how much is left on the ground for ByuN. 11 Ghosts, 7 Marauders, 9 Marines. He's got 20 Vikings and 7 Liberators. The entire Bio army is here. Oh, herO's Nexus wall. I didn't even realize what we were looking at for a moment, but herO trying to wall up, so maybe he could use the shield battery overcharge. He's using an overcharge push strat. I'm... all right. Well, that is certainly... The Vikings trying to match the Tempest on the field. The Blink Stalker control has been good. Oh, a recall! Great recall here out of herO. Still a few units left behind, unfortunately, but he will get a couple delivers. By the way, the Nexus is here. Not that I think shield battery overcharge is going to make a big difference. EMPs, and it looks like we're rotating around. The Tempest, no tectonic destabilizers to work through the buildings quite as quickly. The Ghost Academies, ByuN reminded of them by the Disruptors. They begin 3 nuclear missiles. We'll see how many end up finishing. The cannons zoning out ByuN to the south, but the Sky Terran fleet, the Vikings chasing it down. The Stalkers trying to fight, and as soon as they turn, the Vikings will retreat. Another bit. Wait, is this even in the right spot? herO's just slapping them down. Okay, so that... Now, the other one was definitely on purpose. This one, I think, is just a little off, but if ByuN launches a nuke, Disruptors might be able to deal with it. He knows where that ghost is. The Stalker's pointing him out. Maybe don't stand too close. Well, clears up a couple of the cannons. That's certainly something. The ghost's still going. We're maxed out with no conclusion in sight. ByuN has now +3 ship weapons and +2 armor, +3 air. And +3 shields. Coming up for herO. I can't remember the last time I saw +3 shields. Wow. And of course, well, whose base is it anyways? Unfortunately, Nexi cannot fly. Major design flaw. So that will be claimed by ByuN, at least for a few more moments. The Disruptors. There are 13 of them. Just cleaving through the Liberators with the Stalkers as well. Disruptor is a constant danger to everything on the ground. There's just not that much there, though. There's almost a Disruptor for every bio unit. And you can, I guess, at some point, just right-click on them. A lot of money in the bank. You know, maybe Void Rays. No. Void Rays get outranged by Vikings, killed by... They even don't trade that great against the Liberators since they're... Why? As much as my inner Bronze League hero. herO's... He's starting to make real progress as ByuN is not mining from the north. herO suddenly, you know, a sort of pincer formation here. There's not that many bases left for ByuN to mine from as herO is claiming the rest of the map. If he can pin ByuN back towards his production and start working on that, that's something that ByuN can't replace easily. He might have money, but not being able to produce. The Disruptors fading away, clipping a ghost or two each time. Not so bad. Curves another one in, and another one. That one ByuN too far back from. Another command center on the way. Command center, I don't know how many he's built this game. He's lost only 3 of them. So, around 20. Classic 20 command center play. Volley of scans. Another overlapping siege. Liberators. Well, actually, herO working to the north. The Viking fleet. There's nothing underneath. The Tempests are no match. The Stalkers abandoned the Colossi. But then the Vikings were abandoned to the Stalkers. That's actually a lot of the Vikings going down. That's a huge part of the fleet. It's almost every Viking. He's just gonna hit whatever he can. I don't know if there are any nukes in there. No more orbital. Does he have building armor? Where is ByuN? Where are his units? He's down to 150 supply, loses more Vikings. A lot of the army was tied up to the south, but it's been mostly cleaned up. Carriers on the way now. herO waiting until he clears out the Vikings and switches towards carriers. The patience from herO this game. He hasn't touched a high temp lock, but instead focused on those essentially mechanical Protoss units. His entire army is you know what? This is actually just mech Protoss. I'm thinking about it. When was the last time we saw a Zealot? I guess DTs are the closest thing, but the DTs have been phased out as well. We have Stalkers, Sentries, Immortals, Disruptors. He's now building carriers and Colossi. This is Mechtoss at its finest. A pure mechanical Protoss. Unfortunately, he can't borrow some SCVs to repair it. But he's focused entirely on these powerful units designed to pick a fight and win it before ByuN can really react. But ByuN gonna be the one to get the jump. That's so many Raptors! Broadside! Fire everything! He doesn't do enough. There's one more shot. Targets it down. And the army EMP'd and ByuN cleaves through. While denying mining at most of 2 bases, the carriers are revealed, but ByuN clears the field, and that means he can retake the north. And with it, has mining yet again. herO finally retook the income lead after so much effort, but it's been undercut by the loss of all those Raptors. Some Zealots added in. Is that a sign of desperation or the actual play here? Just something to get in front of the carriers. But the anti-air, the Liberator, there's so many 17! 17 Liberators! Oh my. They have 3-3 fully upgraded. Sky Terran versus Sky Toss. Well, calling it Sky Toss is a bit overselling it, as it's more of a carrier support group here. But they do have +3 upgrades. It's very, very important at this stage. A lot of the times we see Protoss with upgraded air, and it kind of flounders, even against a bio army. But with fully operational Sky Toss here, fully operational +3 carriers, well, the Liberators are a danger to the carriers, or the Interceptors, rather. The Vikings, of course, can target the carriers, but the Disruptors are zoning out the bio. And if he's able to shave off pieces of it, what a chase! Blinking back, the Vikings trying to chase down, but ByuN, with the Marauders, able to force, kind of bully the Stalkers out of position. Where are the Ruptors? He lost he has 5 Ruptors on the field, some of them with the army. Liberators trying to cover the choke points in the center. The battle continues across the map. They're both nearly maxed out, but starting to really exhaust the banks, especially the gas. No longer several thousand in the bank, but instead, whatever they can put together. And the gas mining out means they're going to be forced into the center bases. You can't drop mules to mine gas, all right? That was a horrible 2 weeks of the beta. So ByuN, even though ByuN also hurting for minerals, just in general. ByuN having a tough time. And losing another ghost or two to a disruptor hit. He recalls to reposition. A crazy recall, but the scan will spot the army's no longer there. herO trying to avoid ByuN. He spots it now, as ByuN just scanned everywhere trying to look for the army, and on the 3rd or 4th scan, he finally found it. But herO might be able to get behind ByuN before he can reposition, especially those Liberators. A couple are going to be shaved off by the Blink Stalkers. The carrier's looking for an opportunity. Disruptor shot. Forces the Marauders back. He can't recall out of this. He's cornering himself right now. He's going to have to pick a fight. herO must win this fight, or he will lose the most expensive army he's built all game. The Disruptor's still trying to box ByuN out. Liberator sieging up on his own natural, trying to deal with the Stalkers. More Vikings popping out of the starports. Stalkers blink forward, desperate to get the damage done. Disruptor shots, dodges into the medevacs. Vikings hit the deck. Marauders as well popping out. Another Disruptor shot. The Disruptors retreat to ByuN's main. But ByuN eventually will hold. But herO warped in another round and will come around again, clearing out any of the Liberators left unsupported. He's not done yet. He's keeping the pressure on. That was a costly engagement, but he has the economy to potentially back it up. His army supply not looking great right now. ByuN tries to get the SCVs into the planetary to save it, but the planetary itself will not be saved. What a game! It was a slow burner to start, but it's heated up. And, well, we're starting to run out of minerals. That base is completely, this is like the 5th base, completely gone. The first 4 bases completely mined out for both sides. ByuN has a few patches left because herO put on a lot more pressure there, but Vikings forced into battling on the ground. Was pretty good at cleaning up the fight earlier, but not nearly so great at dealing with Disruptors. A shot leans into it. Vikings waddling away. herO with a lot of money in the bank. He has 1,500 more income. ByuN, while he was able to defend that attack, herO replaced his army so quickly. The charge lots are slicing through the door. Vikings back in flight. But can he even fight? Marauder clipped by the Ruptors, but herO doing such a good job of staggering his shots. The most dangerous force fields. The charge lots are all over the main. And ByuN desperately dodging Ruptors at the front. His main base is crumbling. His supply has plummeted. And herO with a masterclass. This was some of the most... I don't know how to describe it. That's my entire job. Just not tenacious. This wasn't like holding on under ByuN's aggression. This was a stiff arm here. At no point he politely yet firmly asked ByuN to stop. Whenever ByuN came across the map, he just held his arm out and said no. Some very key points. Not a single High Templar. I don't even think he had a High Templar archives. No Void Race. oracles for detection later on. But, oh, that was very interesting. Still a very tenuous position that several times ByuN almost was able to jump in and turn it around. As always dangerous, but wow. Okay, a lot to think about there. ByuN's mass nuke not quite paying off. He did look quite uncomfortable with that particular scenario as well, but... Oh yeah, in case it wasn't clear, herO is playing annoyingly on a barcode, which is how it shows up on the name tags. These lazy pro gamers, but decides to put it as his clan tag there, but... Huh. Wow, that was a lot to think about, indeed. So the Blink Disruptor into support Skytoss. Also, at some point, there were several Immortals added in. I don't know how much that was really a key moment, but that was one of the most interesting Protoss versus Terrans I've seen in quite a while. It was a passive game, almost a no rush 10 minutes sort of game, but and the carriers were not really the focal point. Like, the carriers were there. Now, what did ByuN really do wrong? He didn't go battlecruiser. I unironically think that was a battlecruiser game. Even though he's up against it, like, the main value of the battlecruiser is it can teleport more often than Protoss can, which is saying something. So, that is the one thing we saw untried there. Though I was very interested to see how 17 Liberators were going to work out. herO did such a great job of scraping, and I think it's like that. It's scraping. It's like ice on your windshield. Scraping those Liberators off when he had the opportunity. Very annoying, but if you apply enough pressure at the right place, very satisfying as well. Reaper, there's no unit here. Hey. Okay, there's an adept. He's got the adept. Stargate on the way. Sticking with the Stargate. I like it. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, the probe? Whoa. herO. Yeah, well, we'll see with this game, but this may very well be the championship contender herO. Like many Protoss in the past. Whoa. Does lose the adept, but like many Protoss in the past, a little inconsistent. Zest, another, come back to assess. Another example of an inconsistent Protoss who on his best day looked like he could literally do whatever he wanted. Like if he wanted to pro brush, it would suddenly work. Like whatever. And then on other days, it looked like he was trying to get his 15 minutes clocked in before he had a date with your mom later. And just simply didn't care about the match and loses 3-0. Like, of course, the winning happened a lot more often than those casual losses, but those were still some standout moments. I think more than most other players. Phoenix again. The Mech Protoss. All right. So, not just an idea. Breaks the lock there, but I don't... Oof. Barely enough. RoboBait. This is a ByuN-esque style. You know what's very important to me? Is that herO is doing almost exactly the same thing. This is something Protoss in general struggles with, is having that build you can go back to. You know ByuN. ByuN would do the same build 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Maybe he'll adjust how he backers. He's like, no, I've got to go for the 3pers. And apparently 3pers are a thing now in Terran versus Zerg. Maru, perfecting it, but ByuN definitely the progenitor of that build. Anything Reaper related is ByuN's. All right, just by default. He has a patent on Reaper builds. Anyways, herO doing the late third against ByuN's kind of conservative 1-1-1 opening. Just no sort of Widowmine drop. No Raven, even. This is a... But unlike last game, this is not 3-base, but instead of 2-base time out of ByuN. He's looking to get... Medevac should start. Yeah, there you go. I know. I'm like, hey, anytime now. But... So this is... It's going to be a much thinner window for herO to defend. The thing is, with the delayed third, he's already got all his tech up. He's got the 2 gases at the natural, which allows him to produce Colossi, get extended thermal lance, and potentially have enough sentries to zone out for the... Because you need the sentries before you get enough gateways to deal with the bio army, because otherwise he's just going to run up and murder your Colossi. No sentries. None at all. They are pretty gas heavy. And if you're going for Colossi, it might be too much to ask, but there we go. At least one for Guardian Shield, if not. Force Field usually a double-edged sword at best. Wanted that one Marine, but the rest of them are coming behind it. I don't know if herO now knows the attacks on the way across. 4 more gates on the way, a couple to zone out at the third. I think just kind of a bulwark to box out the bio so the Colossi can get better hits off. ByuN now taking his third. He's building it on the high ground. I do appreciate that. It might still get delayed. Whoop. But so many Terrans. I guess he's against Phoenix, but so many Terrans will build their third on location and then get it delayed for 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute even sometimes. And you're wondering, like, was it worth it? Did you really get a better economy because you built on the low ground? Or were you trying to cut corners again? Ghost Academy on the way. ByuN realizing that herO's tech-focused opener means he's not going to have as large a window to get the damage done. He's sat back. He's worked on the third. He's not going to try to go up against, essentially against the grain, especially when the grain has long-range lasers. Phoenix, Colossus, and herO's just going to try to turn it around. The third base has yet to land. No orbital there either. There is the missile turret. A few boys on the field here. I don't know if those were just the ones left over from before. He is losing the command center. That thing's kind of important. herO just gonna kill the third. Hello? ByuN. herO is at the door. Force fields the bunker. EMPs show up. That's what he was waiting for, I think. The Phoenix is mostly out of energy here. The force field doesn't even keep the SCVs from repairing the bunker, so that was a bit optimistic. But ByuN has to drop a couple supply depots, and he's still supply blocked right now. It kills the Immortal. The Colossi, ooh, coming down a ramp into Colossi. It hurts. Well, herO still has plenty of supply, enough in front. The medevacs don't have enough time to heal here. The boys are pulled, the last stand of ByuN. The SCVs out in front. The Vikings, though, the Phoenixes make short work of them. Lift up a few of the Marauders. And herO turns that defensive Colossus timing into an aggressive pressure. And ByuN just melts. I did not expect to see that. Like, he just didn't have anything to deal with it. I think a side effect of what herO's doing is kind of soft countering the Ghost, because nothing hard counters the Ghost, of course. But when you go straight to Colossi and don't rely so much on even Phoenixes, EMP is annoying, but it isn't deadly. You EMP oracles and suddenly they are literally useless, for example. But so herO focusing more on the brute strength of his unit composition, and ByuN just couldn't match him. herO just found that timing. Honestly, that's kind of what we expect Terrans to do. herO just did what we expect Terrans to do, which is find a timing where your army is just better. Like, your production kicked in at the right time before they had the tech they needed to deal with it. That's Terran's job. Terran's supposed to do that. They're supposed to show up with that bio army before you get your Colossi, or your Storm, or your 4th base, or something like that. But no, herO turning the tables on ByuN. And I might consider myself an amateur DJ, but if the tables turn anymore, he's not going to make it out of this series. Don't check my math on that. herO. Yeah, herO. I don't think ByuN making big mistakes or anything. Well, he's not being aggressive. I don't know whether that is just because he doesn't think he can get damage done against what herO's doing, or it's just an active choice otherwise. Like he thinks it's better off to macro and it just hasn't worked out. But ByuN's main strength is his aggression. It's his ability to maintain pressure and always be dangerous, no matter what units he has. But herO seems to just have the answer. Well, are we going to see Stargate again? I think very likely. If it ain't broke. It's working out. Like, he's using the Phoenixes. Kind of. I got to go back to Terran again. Kind of like how Terran uses Vikings. If they can help against the ground, sure, that's great. But they're mostly for zoning in the air and shutting down your opponent's opportunity to either backstab you with drops, and like Vikings against War Prisms, Phoenix against Medevacs, and help ward away for your main army. So yeah, same build 3 times. Well, if we see the Robo after the first Phoenix, then it's the same build 3 times in a row. Very likely. This time ByuN, well, he's going for the barracks again. We're gonna play it out. Very similar. The 2 Rex, the build Oliveira popularized, especially at the World Championship. And still very common in Terran versus Protoss. 2 racks with a Cyclone, which is enough to shut down any early aggression and kind of springboard into your own attack if they take a quick third. But herO has not been taking a quick third. And I think that is the key sticking point here. Two more gases. And a Robo. He's even building a shield battery. I don't know if he was doing that in the previous games. But building a shield battery even before his third. ByuN, keep poking around. This time a siege tank. We may see some very early aggression here. A bit of a difference. And by very early, I mean like 5 minutes. Not, well, the ship has already sailed out of Proxy Rex. No engineering bay. No engineering bay yet, yeah. So, just stim so far. Looks like ByuN a little more focused on unit production early. That herO, he's waiting until he has... Did ByuN see... He saw a pylon there, but he didn't quite get in range to see exactly when the Nexus was. So, moving out now. He's going to have that siege tank. The siege tank, the most important part of this. That is the potential. Even if there's a Colossus, even with a couple Immortals, there's enough in front. The tank could carve its way towards the third. At the very least, here it's forcing herO to be respectful. It's forced out a couple shield batteries. He does have one at the third. He's building... I think he canceled one. One is done in the main as well. ByuN? Where are those medevacs? Supply blocked. Oh no! It's kind of the worst possible unit to have slowed down, because those first 2 medevacs are essentially, they unlock the ability to move around on the map. Without them, Well, no one's gonna heal you from your stims or get you out of rough situations. ByuN and Medivacs, peas in a pod. And you don't want to have just P. As for pod, you know, take it or leave it, I guess, but... More racks. Loaded up. Phoenix Colossus. Still another... Only a Reaper has died. Most of the battle being fought in the production tab. But that game one, which was next to no rush 10 minutes, was one of the most dramatic and intense, just drawn out Protoss versus Terrans I've seen in quite a bit. And once again, we're having that slow burn of a start. This time, that's the Templar Archives. Is he gonna go for Storm? Because this time ByuN has delayed his ghosts a bit in order to get siege tanks out. So that's where his gas went a little bit more than the previous matches. Or is it just going to be for Archons? Which, if you're not looking to use the DTs as DTs, yeah, on Gresvin, herO going for no Archons, I believe. There were no maybe there were a few from the DTs, but I'm pretty sure there were no Archons either. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, those are great targets for EMPs is the problem. So, a scan at the natural. Spots a Colossus stepping out. Is that the first robo? Yes, and only for now. Though, and Storm on the way. Gravitic Drive. Warp Prism Speed. He's gonna go for Speed Prism Storm Drops? I can only imagine that's where we're headed now. I mean, having the speed, not necessarily Storm Drops, but just for being able to maneuver the Prism in the fight. The storms during the fight are the most important time. Something else to do some sort of damage. Ground Weapons 1 completed now for herO. ByuN he's finished his +1 weapons, about halfway through, +1 armor. The Storm Prism is loaded up. He's got 4 Zealots and with 4 Zealots, that's not a Storm Prism, believe it or not. Just out of reflex, but herO has a proxy gate up to the north as well. So setting up for counterattacks and just backstabs, especially while he builds up the last bits. But the missile turrets were not prepared. He had one last shot that was needed. And now we'll warp in a few more Zealots. The SCV is in a rough spot here. Going for the engineering base, but wait, where? What? Is that a fake? Oh, that's his second Engi bay. And how is that SCV repairing? It's inside the force field. Am I a joke to you? Also, did he warp in a? I'm thinking about it. Why was there a sentry here? herO was trying to snipe the upgrades, but unfortunately did not get the engineering bay actually upgrading. But on the bright side for him, that means his upgrade. He saw the armory timing as well, which means the +2 attack is guaranteed to be quicker here. By a huge margin. And ByuN is going to sit back and set up. Look at herO's vision. That's the mini-map right now. He knows. What is that? Just adepts out there. Probes, whatever he can get. He knows the map is dark and full of Terrans. So, I need to be as careful. Triple Stargate. Well. Stargate command on the way. Blink. More Templar. ByuN is nearly maxed out, though. 2-2 a long way off. No reason to sit back. Especially if this is your unit composition. herO right now, he's very reliant on those storms landing. He's grounded. Yeah, he's 9 High Templar. I'm not sure what ByuN is waiting. He's building 3 more command centers, unless he's actually going to sit back and turtle it up. Will we see the battle cruisers this time? He's getting +1 ship weapons. You know what? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I don't know. Fusion Core! As we spiral into the late game with almost no damage done to either side. Carriers in production, command centers all throughout. 4 liberators at a time, meaning unlikely for battle cruisers, but the fusion core indicates the transition to the late game. So we'll see where ByuN takes us from here. More proxy gates. Carriers. How many? It's gonna be 5 or 6 of them. Enough to force out the anti-air. He's got +2 air weapons. Well, we'll have the better upgrades. ByuN just turtling it up. Wow. The structures tab, hard to read. But the command center count in double digits now. Advanced ballistics on the way. Ship weapons level 1 about to complete. He actually queued up rapid reignition thrusters behind it. Especially against carriers, battle cruisers are quite a strong choice, as even with the weapon upgrades, the interceptors do 2 attacks, which means armor is applied twice, and with a base armor of 2 or 3, I'm not sure, too much, the battle cruisers are able to deflect a lot of the damage. 2 more starports on the way. herO perfectly happy to sit back. ByuN has led him so far. Confident that he can win the later game. The Storms zoning out a wall of cannons. Just mass cannons so far from herO. Well, carriers behind. The Templar finding enough damage. ByuN already in an awkward spot. Retreating. Gonna lose some of his marauders. And doesn't have that much. herO's army looking quite fearsome. Brave sentries leading the charge. The command centers trapping him in a prison of his own design. And the storms will land in the streets. More storm. ByuN just in full retreat. Fight or flight, but the fight part is looking desperate. Finally, he's able to muster enough Vikings. Knocks down 1 carrier. Well, ByuN, an awkward engagement. Chased across the map. herO, despite all of that, despite how awkward that fight looked, herO actually lost a lot throughout it. He's lost 2,500 more minerals. But let's not start counting quite yet. There's a lot more to go. More storms. That storm may be a little off, hitting more interceptors than Terran units there. Though that is always a risk, going storm with carriers. Extended wait, what? He forgot extended thermal lance? herO. Of all the things. I mean, he isn't that reliant on the Colossi, but that's kind of a huge upgrade, especially nowadays, to forget. So, this Colossi not nearly as dangerous as they could be, keeping the bio at arm's reach, the ghosts especially. Oh, the storms just keep landing, as ByuN is forced to sit back and retreat behind his command centers. Another armory on the way. Archon on the edge of Liberator range. Advanced ballistics complete. +2 ship weapons. Finishing up soon. There's still a Cyclone, as ByuN has just brought everything together. I don't know if that's the Cyclone from earlier, or if he rebuilt one, but the Viking count is pretty damn high. The rally point is off-center, and a few units will be rallied in. Ghost going down throughout. Extended thermal lance now completed. Air armor level 1. Some pretty significant upgrade, though not nearly as important as the weapons. carrier Colossus with a few Blink Stalkers, more storms. Vikings historically vulnerable to storms. Tempest and tectonic destabilizers on the way. herO. So, for those who don't know, which is probably even herO on many games' basis, tectonic destabilizers allows your Tempest to do a massive bonus damage. I think it's like plus 40 against buildings. Kind of giving it more of a role against Turtle Zergs and, to a lesser extent, Terrans, who are less reliant on mass static defense. But plenty good against turrets, planetaries. Has no effect against anything else, but it does turn the attack of the Tempest orange. So, the Dorito dusting. The Dorito, well, more like the cheesy poops there, but we'll see momentarily, assuming ByuN doesn't somehow knock the entire fleet out of the sky. The ghost count. There's not that much splash damage besides the storms. How much on the ground? Only 2 Colossi, which don't do that much damage against ghosts. Ghosts are not light units. They're not heavy or armored either. They're exactly what they mean to be. Disruptors and Tempest. herO still continuing to expand. Though ByuN has a lot of money in the bank. So instead of what we saw in Game 1, it's ByuN who has the ability to trade away units. And herO, his army right now he's bleeding. He's actually lost 5,000 more minerals. Many of those in interceptors. A recall to the forward bay. An interesting recall, to say the least. Recalls a smorgasbord of Protoss there. ByuN retreating yet again. And there's those, yeah, just chunking through it. I mean, there's a lot of damage coming out there, but the Tempest doing that bonus against the ground. ByuN finds himself at an odd angle to engage the extended thermal lance Colossi and everything else. The army is mostly ghosts at this point. Ghosts and Vikings. Shields level 2. All done there. Unfortunately, the carriers just got stripped of them. The 8 Vikings at a time. The exchanges, both sides bleeding units. ByuN can replace them more quickly. At least for now. +3 ship weapons on the way. Already has +1 mech armor. Vikings, disruptor to zone. Tempest chipping through. herO not giving up this position. Disruptor goes down. Another Tempest volley. The Stalkers out in front. Still that Cyclone from earlier, amusingly. They just, instead of sitting back, they just keep laying into each other. I'm not sure. Both players seem to think they're getting the better end of this fight. Who is? It looks like herO actually is coming out ahead in these trades. He's killed 21 Vikings. He's lost 4 carry. Yeah, ByuN has destroyed 2,000. The gas is almost dead even. Well, Oracle goes down. Charge Lance will draw some of the army out of position. 3 more command centers on the way. 1 delayed. Okay, all 3 will be delayed, it looks like. The Zealots. Quite difficult to deal with as there's almost no ground arm. The Zealots just ran through, wreaking havoc, and forcing the bio units out of position. Both sides have dragged the army away from that main fight, which has given herO some breathing room. Though ByuN has also built up. They're still maxed out. Incredibly high economies. The Ghosts, though, in a bit of a tough spot. With some Marauders in front. The Ghosts themselves, not so bad against the Zealots, even just auto-attacking here. I also have the option for Snipe. Throw some EMPs out to soften them up. Lines up the Snipes and guns down a bunch of the Zealots. More carriers on the way. Ghosts. Immortals! Just where did the Immortals come from? The rest of the army coming in. herO catching some on the side here. Disruptor shots finally takes out that Cyclone. As a command center is canceled. herO. ByuN, though, holding incredibly strong. Even though it looks bad in these fights for ByuN, look at the money in the bank. Look at the level of production. herO is spending every last mineral, every last gas, whereas ByuN has plenty in the bank. So the war of attrition is being won by the Terran. The Liberators are making it difficult for herO to mine. ByuN has taken an income lead. herO had it for quite a while, but no longer can afford to fight ByuN heads up. So ByuN, I think, has stabilized here. Still no battle cruisers, but against the mostly carrier-based army, he doesn't seem to need them. Though it's hard to tell how well you're doing in the economic war, because a lot of the losses have been in interceptors, which are pretty hard to keep. I mean, if you start seeing carriers who clearly have less interceptors than they need, well, that's quite a tell. But we're not there yet, not even remotely. The Storm's looking good. So far, zoning out. Only one Liberator with the fight. Vikings in autumn colors, gonna need a repair. Liberator still to the north, denying mining. 8 Vikings at a time. Disruptor volley! It's a lot of the ghosts there, but still the Vikings uncontested. Archons, uncontested was a bit strong of a statement. The Vikings were firing, but a lot was firing back. ByuN drops like 40 some. How much did he lose? Well, in the last, what? Did he get one of the, he may have gotten one of the medevacs as well, with ghosts in it. 1 or 2. Yeah, he got 3 medevacs. Who knows if there were ghosts, but he lost 12 ghosts in that fight. herO. ByuN's supply lead, well, ByuN's anything lead has disappeared in almost a snap of the disruptors. ByuN is down to 140 supply, scrambling to put it together. He has money, he has an income at least for now, but his production is under fire. I don't know if he could actually rebuild from here. There's still so many interceptors in the carriers as he's been focused entirely on actually taking them out. The Storms from Templar just sauntering up, and the Vikings kiting back, but they're running out of literal real estate, the corner of the map. And herO blinks forward, looking to claim victory as ByuN. Where did it go? Well, when the Disruptor slammed into his ghosts, and the Blinkstalkers and everything else chased it down. He had a lead, at least by most respects. We gotta go back. We gotta see that fight again. Exactly how bad. That is one of those matchup-defining fights. Sometimes he picks up into the medevacs. All right. At this moment, no ghosts have been lost. The Storms, okay. Oh, there's so many ghosts right there under the Vikings. The Disruptors. Oh no, he didn't load up. Oh, that's so many more. For once. They all died simultaneously. Wait, why does the battle report not show that? I think maybe because of replay quirks, but... Oh my. The Disruptor broadside. Just absolutely obliterating the ghosts. And the Vikings couldn't compete. Wow. herO waited for his moment. And ByuN with an incredibly fragile army. One shot. One opportunity. Well, a lot of shots at one time. And he just obliterated ByuN's opportunity to fight back. A dramatic end. And a little surprising seeing herO. It's weird as herO takes a 3-0. We knew he was capable of it. But still, a bit surprising to see it. I hope you enjoyed, though. Thank you for watching, Jimmy. 1,092 likes. Cast another series. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope I made your day. a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned.